guy who raped her and why she needed abortion. Let's poke all the holes in this story. Check this out.
In the summer of 1994, I was a young girl, all of 17 years old, and had just graduated high school. Like so many Black girls during that time, I was obsessed with fashion and gold jewelry and how I physically showed up in the world. But I was also very lost. For all of my life, I had been a straight A student with dreams of attending college and becoming a nurse. But high school early on was difficult for me. I was discriminated against, bullied, and as time passed, my grades slipped, and along with it, the dream of attaining a full scholarship to a historically Black college. That summer, I was just happy that I passed my classes and that I finished high school. Shortly after graduating, I went on a church trip to Jackson, Mississippi. I had many friends on that trip, and while there, I met a boy, a friend of a friend. He was a little older than I was, about maybe 20 years old. That first day we met, we flirted, we talked on the phone. While on the phone, he asked me, could he come over to my room? I was bunking with a friend and hanging out and said he could stop by. But he didn't show up for a few hours, and by the time he did, it was so late that my friend and I had gone to bed. I answered the door and quietly told him he could come in, imagining that we would talk and laugh like we had done over the phone. But the next thing I knew, he was on top of me, messing with my clothes and not saying anything at all. What is happening? I thought. I didn't know what to do. I was frozen in shock, just laying there as his weight pressed down upon me. When he was done, he got up, he pulled up his pants, and without a word, he left.
So let me tell y'all what I got so far. I got that you was a high school dropout, you wasn't shit in school, you wasn't paying attention, you invited a boy over to your room and you fucked him with your girlfriend laying right there asleep. You allowed him to come in and you fucked him. Now this don't sound like rape to me. Because you ain't screamed, you ain't motherfucking hollered, you ain't said, friend, get the lamp, bust this nigga in the back of his head. You haven't said any of that. You talking about you didn't say nothing was happening. You knew what was happening when you opened the door.
Correct.
Let the man drill you with your homegirl right there asleep, and now all of a sudden it's rape. Come on, let's go.
That was it. I was confused, I was embarrassed, I was ashamed. I asked myself, was it something that I had done? The next morning, I wanted to talk to him. I just wanted to say something to him, but he refused to talk to me. By the time that trip ended, we still hadn't spoken at all. About a month after the trip.
So he hit it and quit it.
Right.
It done happened to me before, sis. Get over it. Let's keep going.
I turned 18. A few weeks later, I realized I had missed my period. I reached out to a friend and asked the guy from the church trip to contact me. I waited for him to reach out, but he never did. I never heard from him. I was 18, I was broke, and I felt so alone. I blamed myself for what had happened to me, but I knew I had options. I had known other girls who had gone to a local clinic to get birth control and some who had gotten abortions. So I looked through the yellow pages and scheduled an appointment.
Now, I just want to be clear, and we're going to let the rest of this play, and then we got to go back. Now, she said she called somebody and the boy never called back. Not one time is she claiming that this boy raped her. Not one time did she tell anybody that this person raped her. She ain't told her parents. She ain't told the police. She ain't told nobody. What it sounds like to me is you like this little boy. You let him come in your room while your friend was asleep. You let him play in your drawers, right? He said, the hell with you, never look back again. And now you making a decision to go get an abortion. This is not about rape, but let's talk about this because these are the representatives that they have representing you in Congress. This is why she is using this argument for black babies to be aborted. Now, I have to say black babies because she a black woman and she is sitting up here with this, oh me. I let this boy come over to our room with my friend sleep on the bed and do it to me, and I got pregnant and he ain't talk to me no more, and now it's rape. Come on, y'all, let's keep going because I want y'all to see where I'm going with this panel. I want y'all to respond once we get through this, and then we're going to open up the lines. Let's go.
My first visit, I found out that I was 9 weeks pregnant, and then there the panic set in. How could I make this pregnancy work? How could I At 18 years old and barely scraping by, support a
Was she 17 or 18? I'm confused. Let's go.
child on my own. And I would have been on my own. I was stressed out knowing that the father wouldn't be involved and that I feared my parents would kick me out of the home. The best parents in the world, but I feared they would kick me out.
She didn't say they said they was gonna kick her out. She talking about she think the best parents in the world. Let's go.
Dad was a proud father and always bragging about his little girl and how he knew I would go straight to college and become attorney general. That was his.
So you ain't want your daddy to know that you was really a round-the-way girl and a freak, and you like, okay.
His goal for me. So with no scholarship intact and college out of the foreseeable future, I couldn't bear the thought of disappointing my dad again. I knew it was a decision I had to make for myself, so I did. My abortion happened on a Saturday. There were a few other people in the clinic waiting room, including one other young black girl. I overheard the clinic staff talking about her, saying she had ruined her life, and that's what they do.
Now, this right here is very important because in this video, you hear her say she overheard the staff telling another girl that she ruined her life. But in the next video, you're going to hear her say the staff actually said it to her. But let's keep going.
Being black girls like us. Before the procedure, I remember going in for counseling and being told that if I moved forward with this pregnancy, my baby would be jacked up because the fetus was already malnourished and underweight. Being told that if...
At 9 weeks.
Right.
I had this baby, I would wind up on food stamps and welfare.
Now, I believe that part. They do tell you that in the abortion clinic. Now, if you black, they gonna tell you don't need no baby. You're gonna be on welfare. You don't want to be a single mama. They gonna convince you of everything they trying to convince you of so you can kill that baby. But let's go.
I was being talked to like trash and it worsened my shame. Afterwards, while in the changing area, I heard some girls, all white, talking about how they were told how bright their futures were, how loved their babies would be if they adopted, and that their options and their opportunities were limitless.
Now, let me stop it right here, y'all. Because if you sitting up here, sitting a member of Congress, and you telling me that the people in the abortion clinic telling you as a black woman you need to kill your baby, but telling the white women they need to give theirs up for adoption, don't that tell you that abortion is racist? Don't that tell you that that's the very reason why we don't need to be aborting our babies, that they targeted our babies? But she's sitting up here advocating for abortion, talking about how racist these people are because they wanted the white babies to live in the black... I'm tired of this. How y'all don't see this?
In that moment, listening to those girls, I felt anguish. I felt like I had failed. I went home, my body ached, and I had this heavy bleeding. I felt so sick. I felt dizzy, nauseous. I felt like something was missing.
It was, bitch, your baby!